What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. Um, we're not really learning anything new today, but I did want to make a quick presentation just to kind of give you, because I know I've been throwing a lot at you with the Italian Renaissance and the Northern Renaissance and Renaissance art and all this different stuff, right? So I wanted to first make a little presentation. It's not long, just to kind of sum up the people and places that we've been talking about so far in the Renaissance, because I know it's tough. Just a few reminders. Your extra credit assignment, if you choose to do it, is due this Friday at the latest, as well as any missing work. I need any missing late work turned in by Friday, emailed to me. And again, I know I sent you guys an email this morning talking about that, but any late work needs to be emailed to me, okay? Plus, I know a lot of you might think, oh, I put my late work in my shared folder, so it's good. It's not good. We as your teachers, if you don't email us and let us know, hey, Mr. Lowe, I did this late work and it's in my shared folder. Okay, I'll go grade it. But if you just throw it in there and don't tell us, then we don't know, right? So just keep that in mind. When you do a late assignment, or if you see something on PowerSchool that you don't think is right, there's a big difference in emailing us saying, this is not right, I'm going crazy, as opposed to emailing us and saying, hey, Mr. Lowe, I noticed this on PowerSchool. I've had this assignment done. Here it is. Because I'm not perfect. I know I might look perfect, but I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. It happens. But don't worry. We're going to get through it. It's all good. But with that being said, let's jump on in. It's not going to take very long. This is just important people and places that we've talked about so far. So, what did Renaissance Europe look like? Well, it's a bit different than what you might think of when you think of Europe today. And this is what I want you to remember, because obviously we talk about history this year in this class. We need to look at history through a different lens than we look at modern society through for it to make sense. Because if we look at history the same way we look at our current world, it's not going to make sense, okay? So we need to kind of take a step back, put on our history viewing goggles, and look at history that way. Because if we look at history like we look at our own world, we're not going to understand it, okay? So this is a map of Renaissance Europe, the Renaissance era, right? As you can see, we got a whole lot going on here. All right, so over here, we have the Ottoman Empire, right? That's like the modern day, that's Greece, Turkey, places like that, in the Middle East over here, right? All right, so what we have been talking about in the Renaissance, we've been talking about Italy, which is this peninsula right here. But look at what's there, right? We got the Kingdom of Naples, we've got the Papal States, we've got Florence, Genoa, Milan, Venice, all these different kingdoms, right? Italy was not united like it is now as a country of Italy, right? Even over here in Spain, we've got Granada, Castile, Aragon, Navarre. We got all these different places, right? France, even England, Irish princes, Scotland, Wales. England controlled some of this. Got France is smaller than it used to be, or than it is now. The Holy Roman Empire was, well, we won't get into that, but the Holy Roman Empire encompassed a lot of different countries, well, modern day countries, right? So when we look at the Renaissance, up here in the Holy Roman Empire was generally where the Northern Renaissance was, and sometimes in England and France, but up here generally, and then when we talk about the Reformation, this is generally going to be in the Holy Roman Empire, France and England, okay? Then when we talk about the Italian Renaissance, we're talking about the Papal States, Florence, Genoa, Venice, Naples, all these different places like that. All right. So the Italian Renaissance, some important people that I want you to know. And again, we've already talked about all of these. I just wanted to make a quick video today just to kind of make sure that everybody was on the same page. All right. So first, we've got the Medici family. And as we know, they were bankers and they were patrons of the arts. They were super, super influential in the city of Florence. And they were patrons, which means they gave money to artists to support them in their work, right? Easy enough. Then we have Francesco Petrarch. He was an author. He was one of the first to introduce humanist ideas. Remember, you guys analyzed that Petrarch quote in your second set of reading questions, talking about how important it is for people to learn history. I totally agree. Another author we've got, really super, super duper important. You need to know who Niccolo Machiavelli is. He was an author. He was famous for writing The Prince, which gave rulers advice on how he thought they should rule. And to sum up The Prince, basically, Machiavelli believed that it is better for a ruler, better for you as a ruler, to be feared by your people rather than be loved by your people. And you might be thinking, well, that doesn't make sense. I want my people to love me. That way I keep power and I don't make anybody mad. Well, think about it. You can be loved today, but tomorrow something could happen that will make your people just hate you like that, right? And then that could be a threat to your rule. So Machiavelli's argument is it's better to be feared, better to just stamp out all resistance and have your people fear you, because then even if they don't like you, they will be afraid to rise up against you. So, I mean, he makes a compelling argument, right? It's very easy to see how Machiavellians have developed, right? Machiavellian is a term we use to describe someone like a ruler who lives by it's better to be feared than loved. So Machiavelli had a huge impact on future leaders. More Italians, right? Two more. These are artists. There are a lot of Renaissance artists. These are the two I want you to know. I want you to know about Leonardo da Vinci. He was an artist, scientist, inventor, all-around Renaissance man. He is most famous for painting the Mona Lisa, which is this girl right here. And then Michelangelo. Michelangelo was an artist. He's famous for painting the Sistine Chapel, the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel that we looked at, and sculpting David. I mean, he had tons of other works, but arguably his most famous ones are the Sistine Chapel and the sculpture of David. And as we talked about, Italian art in the Renaissance was almost like sculpting and painting Greek gods and goddesses. They were flawless. Whereas if we move to the Northern Renaissance, we depict people much more humanly. We depict them with flaws. Like if you have a big old zit right there, you'll probably include that, right? All right. Oops. Let me move my picture. All right. So Northern Renaissance, important people, right? Desiderius Erasmus. Desiderius Erasmus. That is how you say his name. He's a Dutch priest and an author. He wrote The Praise of Folly and many other works in which he criticized some practices of the Catholic Church. We talked about this the other day. Erasmus believed that the church focused too much on useless ritual and ceremony and fancy clothes and fancy buildings and all that other junk that we didn't need, right? Erasmus then said, hey, being a good Christian isn't about all of that. It's about what's in your heart, right? So that was Erasmus's argument. Then we have Thomas More. He was British from England. He wrote Utopia, which is a story about a flawless society. But there was no religion in Utopia. So take that how you will, right? That's very humanistic. And then we have Gutenberg. Obviously, we all know who Gutenberg is. Johannes Gutenberg invented the printing press, a device that used movable type. And movable type, remember, was individual letters. They were in blocks about like this. And you could take it and move it around, movable type, right? To spell out words on a page, press ink on it, and then smash it to the paper. Then after you print that page, you can rearrange the letters to spell out the words for the next page. So on and so forth. Print books super fast, and it was awesome. And before this time, books were copied by hand. So being able to do that not only gave us a decrease in time, gave us a decrease in price, and gave us an increase in availability and languages that books could be printed in. So that really helped spread humanist ideas, spread education, spread all sorts of wonderful Renaissance things. And that's it for us today, guys. I told you it was short. Like I said, I know we've already talked about all of this, but this is just I want to make sure that you guys are all caught up, because I know that the Italian Renaissance, the Northern Renaissance, I know it's all confusing, and I want to make sure that you guys are good. Just remember, missing work, just because you put it in your shared folder doesn't mean we see it. You need to email it to me so I know to grade it. If you notice, please check PowerSchool. If you notice any error at all you got to do is reach out. Say, Mr. Lowe, I noticed this on PowerSchool. I had this assignment done. Here it is. Just email it to me again. No big deal. No big deal. I will fix it, okay? That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you, all right? Let's see, what else? Your optional extra credit assignment due Friday. The link to turn it in will be on the to-do list for every day this week. So every day this week, that link will be there. Use that link to turn it in. Anyway, that's about it. Trying to think of any other announcements I have for you guys. That's about it. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. We can talk about it over email. We can set up a Zoom. We can talk about it on Zoom tomorrow. Anything you guys want, I'm here for you. I hope you have a great rest of your day, rest of your week, and talk to you guys tomorrow.